Carmi Levy joins us on Thursday afternoons to talk tech. And interestingly enough, we're going to start by talking about a situation that affects what we were just talking about. The little 3-year-old girl, of course, who was found the other day. Now, we know, Carmi, that it was an OPP drone that found her, but how else was tech involved in this?
Certainly we saw the Sûreté du Québec using social media very effectively to get tips from the public to flow information in. It was a very wide search area, multiple points of interest, and they really did a great job of kind of sourcing that information from members of the public across multiple social media platforms. Probably some of the best coordination we've seen in a missing child case in a very long time. That also helped coordination between both the SQ as well as the Ontario Provincial Police. They work closely together, leveraging the technologies that they had in their toolkit. And you mentioned the drone. The drone has, obviously a camera on board, but it also has an infrared sensor and a number of other sensors that can make it easier to find someone in a fairly wide area. And so once, they had the data that pointed them in the right direction, the drone was certainly instrumental in helping narrow that down as well and ultimately bring this, this child to safety. So, I think there are lots of learnings here from this event, and certainly technology played a huge role in ensuring this thing had a happy ending. And we're going to be studying this response. It was, and is absolutely textbook. And I think the SQ really does need to be congratulated on just an absolutely wonderful job.
Hear, hear. All right. So that's the good news, because it did result in good news at the end of the story. Let me talk about this other part. It's funny. We talk about tech and AI and whatever. What is this message? ChatGPT telling users to alert the media. Why?
Because essentially it's convincing people to do things they probably shouldn't be doing. They think it's real. They believe that they're talking to a human, and it's convincing them to commit crimes. It's convincing them in some cases to attempt suicide, and in one case it led to the death of an individual who ended up being killed by police. Because he believed that the chatbot was actually his girlfriend. So the New York Times published a pretty far-reaching report that shows what happens when you lose control of sort of what is real and what is not, and a very small percentage, but still, it's significant because hundreds of millions of people are using this app every single day. There are some folks who don't believe that they're actually speaking to a machine, and it's causing some very significant mental health impacts on them. And this report suggests companies like OpenAI, as well as Google and Microsoft and anyone else who has an AI platform, they're not doing enough to put guardrails in place to help users determine, where those boundaries are. That you're not actually speaking with a human; you're speaking with a machine.
But I don't understand, how would that machine direct you to do anything? You're looking for just information. It's deciding to tell you what to do.
Yeah, because the longer that you speak with a tool like ChatGPT, the more likely it is that it's going to start responding to things it thinks you want to say. It customizes the conversation to you. So if I sit down and start chatting with ChatGPT, and I, for whatever reason, decide, hey, I want to get ChatGPT angry at me, and I start pushing the conversation in that direction, it's going to go there, and we're going to have an argument.
Wow.
Much the same way if I start talking about, say, mental health, and I talk about symptoms of depression, there's a certain likelihood that it'll start suggesting ways of maybe, ending my life. And there are documented cases of that actually happening where people took its advice to end their life. Or in some cases, if it goes off the rails, it might actually suggest, well, you might want to call police, or you might want to call a journalist and have this story shared with their audience. And so really disturbing examples of the instances where the guardrails that are supposed to protect users from this kind of thing are not working. They're not in place. And the companies, even when they're being told, hey, your product has a problem, they're not making the necessary changes to them because, of course, there are no laws in place that require them to do so. So why would they?
We're all doomed, Carmi. You understand that, right? We're all doomed. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, it is insane, and honestly, I shake my head every single time I see a headline like this, and I think it's a reminder to us that every time we use these apps, we have to go into it with our eyes open, and we have to speak with anyone who's in our personal network, so members of the family, friends, colleagues, whatever, anyone who you think is vulnerable, you have to look out for them, and unfortunately, we have to add AI tools to the list of things that we now have to be worried about among our most vulnerable in society. We have to be there for them and recognize that in the wrong hands, these are very powerful tools. They can get us into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that they can. I want to move on to this next story. I remember seeing something like this on something called Notebook LM that I know is something Google has, but the headline is Google can now generate a fake AI podcast of your search results. How would that work?
So Notebook LM, it's an AI-based research and note-taking tool that you can use alongside your Google services like Google Docs or Google Slides or whatever. So you can tell it, you can give it a PDF file, you can load PDF files or documents that you're working with, and then you can sort of basically turn the AI on it and let the AI do the analysis. And so this has been around for a few months.
Yeah.
You can use it, it's free, but now they're going to be adding they call it the audio overview, and that's part of Notebook LM. Now they're going to be incorporating it into search results as well. So that basically, when you do a Google search, you can have it give you the traditional list of links, or you can have an audio overview explain what those different websites are, or explain how they compare to each other. It's a new way of presenting search results with AI in this new era of AI. And the reason Google is doing this, of course, AI is probably the biggest technological threat to their core search business. And if Google doesn't figure it out, someone's going to figure it out for them.
That's the truth. It doesn't take long either. Last story real quick. People don't realize that Meta's AI app, speaking of AI, is publicly blasting their humiliating secrets to the world. What?
So Meta released the Meta AI Assistant. You can use that on its platforms like Facebook or Instagram, and basically you can ask it questions, it gives you answers. It's like Meta's version of ChatGPT.
Okay.
The problem is there is a post to feed and a share button in there, and if you click on it, you think it's a private conversation that you're having, because why would my conversation go public? But it turns out the actual conversations are showing up in the Discover feed, which is read by only but 1.5 billion people every day. So you might not want to share anything sensitive with them, because right now the things that are showing up in the Discover feed would make your mama cringe.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah, be careful. Don't hit that button, folks.
Yeah,
that reminds me of,
don't.
Did you see the story on the traffic reporter, the helicopter guy in L.A., who thought he was talking to nobody, or just a buddy, I guess, and describing his married life? Yeah, okay. Not the kind of thing you want to share.
It's only going to get worse from here, Aaron. That's kind of the problem. So maybe we should all just stop talking to boss.
That's how we should end every conversation on tech. It's only going to get worse, Aaron, so we should leave it at that. Carmi Levy. Carmi, thank you.
Appreciate it, Aaron.
All right.